Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Farce Show presented by MyBookie, MyBookie.ag, and it's wonderful to have you along for the ride. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, what a day yesterday. It was a fun day. We are having a great day yesterday. First off, I got to give credit to the NFL. The NFL is just fantastic. They just really know what they're doing. I was just saying last week that the NFL, more so than ever, it just does a wonderful job of making it a 365-day season. And somehow they get 365 days out of 17 games. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing. That's incredible marketing. And the part that makes me really go, good job, NFL. Great job, as a matter of fact, with your marketing, is the schedule week. Because, the schedule comes out Thursday, technically. However, little nuggets, little breadcrumbs are dropped for us to follow. Oh, the Eagles are going to be kicking off against the Cowboys. Oh, and then on Black Friday, they're going to play against the Bears. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, and here's just one for you. On a Saturday, they're going to play against the Washington Commanders in D.C. 5 days before Christmas. Little nuggets get dropped about. It is an amazing thing. So that happened yesterday. I absolutely love the Cowboys right out of the gate. Love it. I don't even know how this is debatable. I don't even know how this is anyone can take a negative out of this. I love this. Love it. We'll get into why a little bit later. So we get all the nuggets thrown about when it comes to the Eagles schedule. And then the Philadelphia 76ers have their draft lottery. The NBA has the draft lottery. Sixers slated to be picking at maybe 6, maybe 5, maybe 4. I said yesterday I would smile ear to ear. I'd laugh. I'd guffaw if the Eagles got a top 3 pick, or if the Sixers got a top 3 pick. The Sixers have gotten a top 3 pick. The Sixers have the 3rd overall pick in the upcoming NBA draft. As of this moment, all the losing at the end of last year, I want people to understand something here. Their tank at the end of last year could end up being far more valuable to this franchise than the entire process, which was a bunch of tanking all grouped together over the span of about 4 years. All of it. This, second half of the season purge, if you will. Second half of the season, full-blown tank could be more valuable to the 76ers than the entire process was. Think about that, man. Think about that. They get Ace Bailey on this team with Tyrese Maxey, with Jared McCain. Oh, boy. That is a great way to start a new run of things here. And I know there's people talking about the possibility. 2 things that came out of the draft or the lottery yesterday. One, will the Eagles use this 3rd overall pick to get Giannis Antetokounmpo, who apparently is beside himself with Milwaukee. He might not want to be back in Milwaukee. He might be done being a Buck. He might want to come to South Philadelphia and play for the Sixers, right? The Sixers would have to trade, and they would likely have to trade the 3rd overall pick for Giannis. No, I'm good. No thanks. I don't want to piecemeal more stuff together. And I love Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm a big fan of Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't want recycled stuff. And if they're doing that, that still means that Joel Embiid is here. The only trade I'm interested in with the 76ers is one that moves Joel Embiid away from the 76ers, or Paul George away from the 76ers, or both of those guys away from the 76ers. And then, you know what they do? They start over again. Because this ain't it. I was telling you yesterday, we have no hope with this team. No real hope. Your best case scenario I see for the Sixers next year is a first-round playoff exit, maybe a 6th seed, okay, where they avoid the play-in tournament. That will be our celebration. They're not playing in the play-in tournament. If Joel Embiid comes back and he's even anything close to healthy, do you think he'll be anything close to an MVP-level player? I don't. So the only real option here is to start over. But the good news, it's not a full-blown restart. It's Tyrese Maxey's a great piece to have. Jared McCain's a great piece to have. Ace Bailey's a hell of a piece to have. I'm here for all of it. I'd rather start over with something young than just try to, all right, let's see what else we can get out of this. Squeeze the rag. That's one thing that came out of last night. The other thing that came out of last night is, oh, yes, absolutely, the NBA is rigged. The draft lottery is so friggin' rigged. Oh, my God. Oh, man. How is it possible that with a, 1.5% chance of the Dallas Mavericks getting the number one overall pick, the Dallas Mavericks get the number one overall pick, and they do that the year after they trade away Luka Doncic? So Luka goes to LA. All are happy in the NBA. All right. All are happy in the NBA. And then they get the number one overall pick. They're going to get Cooper Flag with Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Caleb Martin. No. Yeah. Okay. It's not rigged. It's not rigged. It's rigged. So that all that. And before I even talk about anything in the baseball world, specifically with the Phillies last night, I'm going to take my headphones off. For the people on the podcast, I wear headphones during the show. I want you to look at my head. Okay. This is a shaved head. I'm bald. Breaking news. I'm bald. This is a shaved head. Nick Sirianni last season buzzed his head. Okay, there's a pretty huge difference. Yesterday, Bryce Harper showed up to the ballpark with a buzzed head. Not a shaved head, a buzzed head. Okay? When I lost this little patch, this little patch right there in the front of my head, I went, it's time to buzz the head. And I originally buzzed my head. Okay. I was fighting the good fight. I was strategically placing hairs. You know what I mean? I was holding on. I should have just let go. When I finally let go, I buzzed my head originally. Then I finally came around to shaving my head. There's many different levels to this. Now, Nick Sirianni not in danger of losing any hair. God bless him. Bryce Harper, I think he'd make a trip to Turkey if it meant, holding on to that hair. I don't think he'll have to do that. And he's got a full head of hair. I don't think he's have to worry about anything. But those gentlemen buzzed their heads, people. They're not members like myself and Larry David. I put myself right there as prominent members of the bald community, Larry David and myself, obviously. Bryce Harper did not shave his head yesterday. I'll tell you all that to tell you this. Bryce Harper did not shave his head. Can we please be a little bit more sensitive to those of us that have shaved heads, that have taken the leap, that have let go? This is a shaved head. Thank you. I grow the beard simply to only not look sickly, usually. I know many people ask me if I dye my beard. I do not dye my beard. I have little white spots around. I don't dye my beard. Thank you very much. So Bryce Harper yesterday, two things. One, he did not shave his head. He buzzed his head. Two, he struck out twice, and he was 0 for 3. Lackluster from Bryce Harper this season. Lackluster. Phillies could have really used Bryce Harper yesterday. It was a one-run ball game. The Cardinals, hottest team in baseball, won 10 of 12. They'd won 7 in a row coming into yesterday, 8 in a row, 8 in a row. They won their 9th in a row yesterday against the Phillies. Nobody got you offense in the final game of the series in Cleveland other than Kyle Schwarber. The Phillies yesterday only got offense on a pair of RBI groundouts with a runner on third base, where they just squeaked out a run. One on a sharply hit ball by Edmundo Sosa that actually saw Nolan Arenado bobble a ball and allowed a run to score. The other came in the 6th inning on I think it was JT Realmuto ground out. That 6th inning is the one that sticks in my craw more than anything, because the Phillies had a chance for a big inning in the 6th inning and failed to deliver anything of substance in that inning. That was infuriating. They got one run out of it. We'll get to more of this. Christopher Sanchez battled. Yesterday was a perfect example of Christopher Sanchez battling yesterday. 8 strikeouts, 98 pitches, over 6 innings, 2 runs, bottom line. But 3 walks, 4 hits, and he hit a guy. Not ideal. Sinker was not as controlled as it has been in the past. The changeup, it seemed like earlier in the game, the Cardinals were kind of waiting on that changeup, and then it got more effective as the game went on. But he battled, absolutely battled. Orion Kerkering was great yesterday. Credit to him. Good hustle, Orion Kerkering. Matt Strahm, horrible hustle. Left the fastball up in the zone, and it just got tattooed by Mason Wynn. And as soon as you saw it, like, I saw the contact by Wynn, and I went, fly ball, morning track? And then I saw Strahm's reaction to it, and he was like, dag nabbit. That's what I read. And it was gone. And I was like, oh, that's going to be a home run. And it ended up being about 5 rows back, 377 feet, I believe. 377 feet. Left field on a 1-1 fastball, or 0-1 fastball up in the zone. Phillies went down 3-2 and then couldn't recover after that. Trey Turner. I don't know what's going on with his inability to tag guys at second base. It was Jose Ramirez in game 2 against the Guardians that he couldn't tag. Perfect swim move. But dude, you don't gotta reach out for him, man. They gotta come to you. That's the thing. Johan Rojas, off his heels, people, made a fantastic throw. I don't think he could have gotten behind that ball more. I don't think he could have made a better throw. The throw was great. The tag was horse poo. It was terrible. And that run ended up coming around to score for the first run of the ball game. It was you could look at Christopher Sanchez and his leadoff walk in the inning as a culprit, and that certainly never helps. But the out was there to be had, and Trey Turner missed it. I got more confidence in anyone tagging a runner than I do in anyone striking out a hitter. It's a little bit easier to go as opposed to, let me get 3 by here. For those, again, in case Trey Turner's watching, here's how it goes. Tag, you're out. Even if he moves over there, I'm just going to, oh, you moved over there? Okay, out. That's how that works. Anyway, so we'll get into all that. But let's get back to the lead, the headline, the main story. The Philadelphia Eagles, for the first time since 2000, will open up their season against the Dallas Cowboys. And they will do so on Thursday night, the same night they unfurl their Super Bowl banner in South Philadelphia. Some people will talk about, I wanted to see the Lions. I wouldn't have minded. I wouldn't have minded seeing the Lions. I'd like to see the Lions. That would have been a good opener. That would have been nice. We've been waiting for that matchup for a minute, right? I would have liked to have seen it. I thought we were going to see that. Usually, I mean, you look at even just last year, Baltimore versus Kansas City Chiefs, a team that won the Super Bowl versus a team that could have very well been to the Super Bowl and won it, but didn't because the Chiefs were in their way, and Lamar Jackson just can't win that game yet. I thought we were going to see the same thing, the matchup that most people wanted to see in the NFC Championship game last year, which was Lions and Eagles. Now, unfortunately for the rest of the world, the Eagles ended up facing the Washington Commanders and ended up spanking them. Something terrible in the NFC Championship game. So what's going to happen now is the Dallas Cowboys are going to come here to kick off the 2025 NFL season in South Philly. And Jerry Jones will be in the house as that banner just rolls down at Lincoln Financial Field for their second Super Bowl championship in 8 years. How about that? That's fun. That's pretty damn awesome. Also, this game has the chance of being, if not just one of, but the highest rated games of the entire season. Cowboys-Eagles always gets an amazing number. It's shocking to me that NBC didn't do it last year. It's the first time in forever they didn't do Eagles-Cowboys. That's just unheard of. And now they're going to do Eagles-Cowboys to open up the season. This is going to be a ratings bonanza. Now, folks, here's the comparison I like to go with. And I went through this yesterday on Locked On Eagle Squad podcast. You're going to your favorite restaurant, let's say. They got the apps. They got the dinner rolls on the table. They got the bread. They got the butter. They got the olive oil, maybe a little rosemary on the table. You know what I'm saying? They got that. And the NFL just went, just cleared the table and dropped a porterhouse right in front of you. And a nice glass of red wine right there. Boom. And they said, forget everything else. We're just starting with the steak. That is Eagles-Cowboys starting off the season to me. That's what it is. It is just jumping right in. Forget about all the other things. Forget about all the pleasantries and all that, blah, blah, blah. Forget about the ramp up. No. Feast right out of the gate. Eagles beat the Cowboys last year 75-13 in the two games that they played combined. To me, I think the rest of the world saw that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to be taking on the Dallas Cowboys and went, oh, that's an interesting opener. Whereas I looked at it and went, oh, the Eagles are 1-0 already. Eagles are going to be 1-0 to start the season. I love this. I can't think of a better way to start out the next year, the new season, than to beat the Cowboys in South Philly Thursday night, the night you're celebrating your Super Bowl championship. And I was trying to think of the equivalent because everyone's just like, oh, well, the Cowboys' last Super Bowl is on VHS, you know? I'm like, well, the Eagles will be unfurling their banner. By the way, what a great word, unfurling. We don't use it enough, unfurling. Their banner, you know? What's the Cowboys' last banner made out of? Parchment? Anyway. Sorry, historical reference. I can't think of a better way to start out the season. Ratings bonanza has everybody in full tilt right out of the gate. Like, there's a chance you open and close your season against Dallas. There's a chance that happens. Oh, man. I love it. I also just love the matchup again for a 75-13 differential last year in the two games. Kind of love that. And I love the opportunity for Dak and Jalen Hurts to actually be able to take on one another, which is something that rarely happens, mainly because Dak's injured. But this is as fun as it would have been to see the Lions out of the gate. And then obviously you're not going to see them again for the rest of the regular season. It would have left you wondering, oh, what happens next? That would have been cool. That would have been nice. I would have liked it. But I love Eagles-Cowboys to start off the season. I have said many times on this show, and I said it on the Eagles Squad podcast yesterday as well, I don't get the same juice out of the Cowboys, quote-unquote, rivalry, because the Cowboys aren't a team you can take seriously anymore. Even if they have a great regular season, they're going to wet the bed in the postseason. That's just how they're made right now. So I don't really take them as serious as I used to. Beating the Cowboys doesn't mean what it used to mean because they're just not that good a football team. And they're going to be in the midst of changing things in the not too distant future, I think, with Dak Prescott anyway. They can't seem to keep their head on straight. Hey, congratulations on getting George Pickens. I'm sure that it will work out well for you, but it's not going to work out well to close the gap of 75-13 for crying out loud. But it is still fun to beat them. And it's really it doesn't have much to do with them, the team. It has more to do with just the fans. I love seeing Eagles fans get out. Now, I realize I'm in the minority. I realize Eagles fans, man, it's still all about beating the Cowboys. I know there's a lot of people that haven't changed since really the days of Buddy Ryan, and they just want to beat the Cowboys. That's it. Just beat the Cowboys, and that's that. So I get that. I know there's a lot of people, most people like that. I think that the Eagles have evolved, and we should evolve as a fan base, where it's not just about beating the Cowboys anymore. It's about winning Super Bowls, because that's the life we live now. Our football team wins Super Bowls. So things have changed. Cowboys, small potatoes in comparison to, winning Super Bowls. Maybe that's how Cowboys fans felt about us for a long time. Well, now it's our turn. And we get to feel like that for damn near 30 years now. Feels pretty damn good. So that's where I'm at when it comes to this game. Now, the reason I enjoy it so much, though, is because the fans get into it, and it's not so much about the Cowboys team as much as it is about the Cowboys fan base, and the Cowboys fan base hearing it from the Eagles fan base. That's what's fun to me. And also, the eyes of the nation will be on the Philadelphia Eagles Cowboys starting off the season in 2025. I love this. So much better than taking on the Lions to start out the season. This is how you want to get things going. Absolutely. Can't wait. Other games that were announced, Black Friday, November 28th. Eagles Bears in South Philly. There you go. That'll be the Eagles versus the Pope's favorite team, I think. I don't know. Also Saturday, maybe Villanova, maybe he became an Eagles fan in that run. Maybe he just really liked Ron Jaworski during that time. Maybe. And then Saturday, Eagles, Saturday, December 20th, that is. Eagles, Washington. At Washington. Now, this begs the question, what happens on Christmas Day? I don't want the Eagles to play on Christmas Day. And in all honesty, Christmas Day doesn't really matter much to me anymore. I'm a Christmas Eve guy. All right. Christmas Eve is the big night. A lot of you know why. We do the 7 Fish in my family. I host it. Last year we didn't get to do it. My son was sick, and that was that. He's the flu. Didn't want to give everybody the flu, so we had to bail. But I still would like the Delaware Valley to just be able to sit back and enjoy their family. And I think a lot of people in Delaware Valley would just rather sit back and enjoy the Eagles. But there's talk about the Eagles potentially playing on the 25th. So be it if it happens. More so than any holiday. I don't want the Eagles playing on the 20th and then the 25th. Do we really need that? I know Roger Goodell's goal is to have not only a team, but a division in England. Okay. I think that would be it. Or Germany. Okay. I think that would be it. I think that would be his long-term, highest goal, right? The other would be to have a football game every day. And then the other one would be the 18-game schedule, which is happening, by the way, in case people didn't know that. That's going to happen soon. But, yeah. So with all that in mind, I would still rather the Eagles not have to play on the 20th and then play again on the 25th. I hate that. I know the NFL has done that in the past. It's likely the Eagles are going to play on Christmas. I'll put it like that. We'll get the schedule out entirely on Thursday. But oh my goodness gracious, I'd like to avoid these short weeks as much as humanly possible, especially when I think the Eagles, as much as I'd like to see them take a step forward in their passing game by being at least a middle of the road, statistically speaking, passing offense, that you're going to have a running back in Saquon Barkley who's going to be on the heels of I know I've mentioned it a lot, but 482 touch season. I'd like to avoid as few short rest weeks as possible when it comes to the Eagles' upcoming season. I think they've kind of earned it. So let's hope for that. But yeah, of these games, Eagles win them all. So there you go. The 3 games that we know of, 3-0, Eagles. There we go. As far as the days they come out. So there you go. That's what I got for you on the Eagles and all that jazz yesterday. Oh, also, Drew Kendall signed his rookie deal, their 5th-round pick out of BC. When we were doing Eagles postcast the other day, Louis DiBiase, who runs the channel, was talking about of the starters that could have been drafted in this past draft class, who could be, or of the players who could be starters. And he was looking at Drew Kendall as a potential right guard, starting at right guard for the Eagles. Now, here's what's interesting. Going into last year, the Eagles' question mark in training camp on the offense was right guard. Mekhi Becton hadn't played the position. He'd been a tackle. The question was whether or not you were going to have him actually win that job over Tyler Steen. Well, he won that job over Tyler Steen. So now we're 2 years removed from Tyler Steen getting drafted, and you could potentially have another interior offensive lineman that could go out there and quite potentially take over that right guard spot. I'm going to tell you this. Everything needs to be a competition. I want there to be a competition. I think every player strives. If the best comes out, the cream rises to the top with competition. If it's close, I want Drew Kendall to get that gig. Restart the clock, baby. Instead of having Tyler Steen, who's been here for 2 years, and by the way, played well last year. Now, ultimately, do I want the best player to play? I want the best player to play. But if it's very close, I want Drew Kendall to get that and restart the clock at right guard. So this way, it's not a question mark going into next year. Get him on his rookie deal. Love it, especially with the money that's going to be due. I think strategically, that's why the Eagles have been so successful. They know how to mix the business side of things rather well with the most important side of things, which is talent and winning. So that's what I'll look at there as far as the Eagles go. Hey, your Philadelphia 76ers were god-awful last year, especially in the second half of the season. In case you're just joining us, my big point to start out this show, when it came to at least what I was saying about the NBA draft lottery, is that the Philadelphia 76ers, in one second half tank, could have done better for the franchise than really 4 seasons of the process. And it looks like Ace Bailey is going to be a member of the Philadelphia 76ers. 6'10", swingman from Rutgers over there in Jersey, okay? Can shoot, can defend, great range, smooth. He runs like a gazelle at 6'10". If you're telling me he's going to be on the floor with Tyrese Maxey for the next 10 years, I'm pretty happy. If you're telling me he's going to be there with Jared McCain over the next 10 years, I'm pretty excited. I like what that could build for the next round. And I know there's been conversation about trading the number 3 overall pick for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know there's been conversation about conspiracy theories about the Dallas Mavericks getting the number 1 overall pick. I get that. I'll tell you this. I'm not interested in trading the number 3 overall pick for Giannis. Because that would mean, unless you're trading Joel Embiid and this becomes the Giannis team, all right, but I don't think they're trading Joel Embiid in that deal. If you're telling me you're going to package the number 3 overall pick and Giannis is here with Tyrese Maxey, okay, all right, now you have my attention. If you're telling me that Paul George is going to get moved, it's got to be a complete changing of the guard if you're going to bring Giannis Antetokounmpo in here, because I don't see him and Joel Embiid coexisting. So I'm not interested. I have to see the details of it, but off the top of my head, it doesn't seem like it would be appealing. I would love to see the Sixers be able to put something new together, something to build, something to grow, as opposed to running it back. Because one thing that just absolutely drives me crazy is continuously in my head going back to the Jimmy Butler 76ers and the quadruple doink and getting knocked out of the playoffs like that. That was rough. That was the best brand of basketball we have seen in the post-process era of the Sixers. I wish we could have that back. We can't. It's gone. It's been gone for a long time now. To me, that was peak post-process Sixers. I thought you'd have it better against the Hawks. That obviously went terribly in Game 7 in particular. Ben Simmons in particular. We don't need the history lesson. That's as far as I'll go with it. But I am fully supporting a Sixers rebuild. If the Sixers have an opportunity to move Joel Embiid, I doubt it. But if they have an opportunity, I move them. If they have an opportunity to move Paul George, I move them. With tanking in the second half of the season, Sixers have an opportunity to get a player in here that can absolutely help you turn the tides rather quickly. With his development, the increased improvement of a guy like Tyrese Maxey year after year, what you have in Jared McCain is far better than anybody anticipated. I mean, this is a guy that This is a guy that Nick Nurse was talking about going into last year as we spent some time in the G League, and he would have been Rookie of the Year if he didn't get hurt. He's up there at the podium yesterday, or at the chair, whatever, during the draft lottery, and here he is being able to give the Sixers some good vibes, some good luck, whatever, to not only get a top 6 pick, but get a top 3 pick in the draft. That is pretty damn special. Now, is it the Mavericks with a 0.5% chance of getting up there to the number 1 spot? No, it's not that lucky, but it's still pretty damn lucky. The Sixers last night had an opportunity there, getting a top 4 pick, 52% chance of getting that pick in the top 4. They nailed it. They had a 64% chance of keeping their top 6 pick. Not only did they do that, but they got a top 4. They had a 10.5% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick, and still got beaten. Got beaten out by the Mavericks. So there's that. Yesterday was a really good day until the Phillies played. That's when the bad things started happening. So let's move on to that. A way to sum it up with Christopher Sanchez again yesterday was battled. He battled. He absolutely battled. 98 pitches through 6 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, hit a guy. 8 strikeouts is pretty damn good with Christopher Sanchez. However, the lineup was not there for him at all. They squeak out 2 runs on RBI groundouts. Pathetic. The lowest form of RBI. And they don't get the big hit. Now, I mentioned earlier there was an inning that I was going to go back to. Well, let's go back to 2 innings, okay? First off, the 4th inning. Nolan Arenado, 3-2 count, works a walk against Christopher Sanchez. Contreras goes out there, flies out after trying to bunt, by the way, on 2 separate occasions in that at-bat. Ends up hitting a long fly ball to the right center field gap. Johan Rojas tracks it down, makes a great throw to the infield. Nolan Arenado knows that he's going to be throwing off his heels, so Arenado tags from first to second and originally was called out. Trey Turner gets the glove down. The glove beats Arenado, but he doesn't tag Arenado. They review it. They come back and be, Miss Guzzi, we got it wrong. Trey Turner missed the tag. Something Trey Turner's been doing a little bit lately that I could really use him to not do anymore. But he misses the tag. Arenado then, I believe it was on a wild pitch. Yeah, then reaches third. First and third, 1 out in this situation. Pages is up at the plate. He grounds into the 5-4 fielder's choice. I heard Michael Barkan and company, Ben Davis on the post game. After I was done the postcast, I went up and watched that because I wanted to hear Rob Thompson and everything. And I heard them talking about whether or not Bohm had an opportunity to get the lead runner, get Arenado at home. I think he did have an opportunity to get the lead runner at home. He could have just gotten out of the inning. He got a double play ball. Pages doesn't exactly run well. And Edmundo Sosa, I believe with a good throw, not even a great throw, but a good throw, gets the out at first base and they turn 2. If Bryson Stott was at second base, I think they turn that double play. Alec Bohm fields it, does not come home, fires to second. They go for the 5-4-3 around the horn double play and end the inning. They don't get it. The run scores the first run of the ball game. So some things went wrong in that inning, obviously, but I do go back to Trey Turner having an out right there for the taking, and he misses the tag. Credit to the Phils. They do come back right away in the bottom of the 4th inning. They got the RBI ground out from Edmundo Sosa on the bobble by Nolan Arenado at third. It's a 1-1 game. Phillies then have another opportunity after another run was scored on the Herrera solo home run off Christopher Sanchez in the 6th inning. Goes up 2-1. He gets a single. This was an interesting play. The Phillies are in a situation here where they have Herrera at a 1-1 count. Sanchez gives him a sinker that's up and away, and he just puts a great swing on it, hits it out of the park. It's more credit to the hitter than it is fault of the pitcher on that. So Herrera hits the solo home runs 2-1. Real Muto comes up in the bottom of that inning, gets the RBI ground out, but things started out great for the Phillies in that inning. Liberatore at 68 pitches at the start of the sixth inning. They start off the inning with back-to-back singles, Castellanos and Schwarber. Schwarber, by the way, reads the ball off the bat of Nick Castellanos perfectly, makes it to third. So now you got first and third with nobody out. You bring in the run on the Real Muto ground out. Bohm ends up getting a single. JT's able to go to second. They then go to the bullpen. Liberatore's out at that. Leahy comes in first and second with one out. Stott comes in as the pinch hitter facing the righty. He's up in the count 3-0. 3-2 count, misses a couple of fastballs. I think he ends up grounding out the third. Then Kepler steps up there. This was a great play. This was a game-saving play maybe by Contreras, who makes a great diving stop to stop Max Kepler's what would have been RBI single to right field, what would have been a 3-2 Phillies lead. And Contreras just dives on it, kills any chance of the Phillies making anything happen there. Strom comes in the seventh inning for the Phillies, gives up the solo home run. 3-2 now St. Louis. Would have been a game-tying home run. And that was the difference in the ballgame. Bryce Harper 0 for 3 with a strikeout and a walk. With 2 strikeouts and a walk, excuse me. These are the games where you need that big swing from somebody. Schwarber just won you a game, giving you all 3 RBIs in your last game against the Cleveland Guardians. Somebody else has to step up with the big hit, and the Phillies did not get that big hit. Now they got Sonny Gray on the hill today. He'll go against Jesus Luzardo for the Phils. I was joking on the postcast last night. I said, hey, do something. What's something that you don't like doing as much as Trey Turner doesn't like tagging runners at second base? What's something you don't like doing as much as the Phillies don't like winning games where they travel the night before? Because that certainly seems to be a thing for the Phils, with the exception of the Marlins series. Or Marlins, Tampa Bay series. Because this was frustrating yesterday. And look, I know a lot of these games are going to happen, unfortunately. The Mets won in walk-off fashion. Pete Alonso had a walk-off sac fly RBI to beat the Pirates on a Paul Skeens start. This was a rough one. This was a rough pill to swallow. So that's where we're at. Didn't I feel like I mentioned that? Hey, before I get to the chat check, let me tell you about the great people at the Game Time app. Want to go to the game? Want to go to the concert? Want to go to the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your purchase on the Game Time app. And don't forget the Game Time Picks feature. Game Time Picks feature is where it's at. It filters out all the fluff, so you get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices with the Game Time app. Nothing like, the squeak of the sneakers in a playoff basketball game. Maybe one day we'll understand what that is again in Philadelphia. Hey, also the crack of the bat in baseball, being at the stadium, nothing like it. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Before I get into the chat check, sweetheart, Monalutz, Vianney Kui. You want to show people your cast? All right. Go ahead, show people the cast. Go ahead. You want to tell them what happened?
When I was running to first base, I fell on my arm.
Softball. She just rings one up the middle, runs to first base, loses her footing, down like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, you always say that.
Well, you're in good spirits, so that's good. People have already signed your cast, so there we go. We have a fracture. It looks like 3 weeks on the IR, and then I think a month in Qatar for rehab. I think that's the way that's going to work. All right. Love you, sweetheart. Yep. Say good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right. Love you, sweetie. Okay. I'll be up in a second, okay?
Okay.
All right. Watch. Whoop. There you go. Don't trip. Don't trip. Don't trip. There you go. Okay.
Too bright.
All right. What's going on here? William Stark, good morning. Jason A, good morning. Daniel, good hello. Prolific, Bird Gang, hell yeah. Kevin, what's going on? Sean Kilrain, hello. Jason A, Cowboys, Eagles, first game I haven't seen ever. I think it's pretty exciting. Oh, so you weren't around for the U24? Because I'll never forget what became the pickle juice game in week 1 in 2000. That was, so Andy Reid had been here a year. Donovan was here a year. And it was like the statement game for the Eagles that year. That, hey, this is a new Eagles team. They start out with the onside kick. They recover. They get the touchdown. Yeah. Then on the first possession of the Cowboys, Troy Aikman gets sacked by Corey Simon. Corey Simon just wrecked them. Eagles go on to a blowout win, all thanks to the lovely sodium content of pickle juice. Sean Kilrain, the common belief is that the Eagles will be visiting the Packers in Week 17 on Christmas Day. Wah, wah. Don't like it. Agree, Farzy. Again, the third pick is insane. Great. Thank God OKC doesn't get the pick. Jason A, I concur. Also, unprotected 2028 Clippers pick as well. Let's party. Flag Harper Bailey says Philly Eagles 215. Our franchise-changing players, Sixers need to develop Bailey properly, but he has immense potential. I concur. JB, just a bop. What's up, Farzi and friends? Just FYI, the media world needs more Harry Mays. I enjoy working with Harry Mays. We're having a good time. Sean Kilmer, Ace Bailey will be a Sixer, Farzi. I concur. Jason A, to overcompensate our baldness, Farzi, that's why you grow the beard. I grow the beard because I don't feel like I don't look sickly. I feel like if I just go completely hairless facially, I think I look like a big baby. 2, I look sickly. And 3, block the chins. You know what I mean? Block the chins. Bryce went to the barber and said, yo, give me that fresh death cut. Or fresh to death cut. There you go. Yeah, the one where I look like I got kicked out of Father Judge and attend Lincoln now. Wonderful pull, Sean. Wonderful pull. Jason enjoys it as well. Shola Master, hello. Boys better not get us. They ain't going to get us. Only damage Dallas has is their coach. Makes them unknown. Not worried. Whoa, Sean. Fans will spend a minimum of $1,500 to watch all games next season. Sunday ticket, $522. YouTube, $563. Peacock, $14. Netflix, $23. Amazon Prime, $90. ESPN Plus, $104. Holy Stromboli. That's a lot of money. Nolan Richardson says Philly sucks. That's funny. Philly does not suck. Philly is world champion of football. They're the Super Bowl champions. Also, America was born here. You're welcome, everyone. Boom. Boom, roasted. Cowgirls don't deserve to be on the same field as us. Maverick won. I agree. It's ridiculous. Run up the score, says Maverick won. No mercy. I agree. Nolan Richardson, dumb take. Nobody wants to see Eagles versus Cowboys other than 50-year-old Eagles fans that still think them boys are a decent franchise. Nolan, to correct you, because your point is so blatantly wrong and unfounded, everyone wants to see it. That's why the Cowboys are fought over more than any other team of all the networks. This isn't an opinion, by the way. I'm giving you a fact here. They are the most fought over team. And it's not even because, the Cowboys are so great. No, it's not even because of that. It's because everyone has a feeling about the Cowboys. Everybody has a feeling about the Cowboys. You either love them or you hate them. There is no one that's like, meh, the Cowboys. No, it's traditional to either hate them or love them. The Eagles are the Super Bowl champions. Eagles Cowboys is a great game to have on your schedule if you're Fox, ESPN, Amazon, Netflix now, NBC. That's why it was so incredible. When I was at Sunday Night Football, 11 seasons I worked for that crew. Every year, Eagles Cowboys. Last year was the first year they didn't do it. Probably because they knew Dak was going to get hurt at some point and they didn't want to waste their time. But this is a tremendous opportunity for the Eagles and Cowboys to start the NFL season with potentially the highest rated game of the season. And once again, to your earlier point, Philly does not suck. Philly is awesome. David, I definitely agree. Go Birds. There you go. This is a different one. Could the Eagles play the Cow Bitches on Thanksgiving? No, they can't because they're playing Black Friday. Now, that would be a new one from Roger Goodell. Yeah, guys, play on Thanksgiving and then play Black Friday. Wouldn't put it past them. Jeremy Van Skyver. Hello, buddy. Dallas always gives us fits. We destroyed them last year only because Dak was hurt in both games, but I'm excited for the home opener. Should be a good one. Low Eagles, Cowboys and Eagles, last game of the season won't help. I agree. It won't happen. But a guy can dream. All right. 60 man. All right. Low Eagles. First game is the money game. No need to have Cowboys at the end of the year when they're not going to be in the playoffs. Fair enough. I like this. Low Eagles. This is a good point. That's why they did it the first game, because Cowboys fans feel like it's hope every season. So why not bring out America to see if quote America's team can win the first game against the best team in the NFL. And then they lose to them, and then the Cowboys fans will go away. Adam Marcus, but the Cowboys aren't America's team. They suck. I agree. Last game of the season won't be the Bears because they got the Bears on Black Friday. Yeah, November 28th. Eagles, Bears on Black Friday at 3, so it's not the last game of this. Right. Okay, right. Farzy can't bench the bar. Good to see you as always. Farzy, I fear the Titans' offense is just going to be the same old in October. That's the problem. That's what we're all worried about. We're all on the same page here. Farzy can't bench the bar. We're all on the same page. The Phillies, I've pointed it out many times, 37-14 last year, not only fizzled out, just died. 5 home runs in a game in the World Series, no hit the next day. Up 2 games in the NLCS on the guys that are playing in the desert there, the Diamondbacks, lose the series. Game 7 at home, lose the series. This is why we have trust issues with this brand of baseball for the Phillies. Hey, you bring up Justin Crawford, you bring up Otto Kemp, you bring up, obviously, Andrew Painter later in the season. All of a sudden, clear, new life in this offense. Could be. Jeff Schultz. Farzy chat check more like chin check? Jay say, Little Toots, no. Yeah. Yep. Sean Gillespie, Little Toots already an extreme athlete. I watched the whole. I've videoed every one of her at bats. Our former nanny came out to watch her play, so we were talking. I didn't video it, which I'm kind of glad. Like, I don't want to watch again my daughter get hurt, but she hits it, great hit up the middle. Runs the first, just loses her footing, falls right on her arm, bounces up, finishes the run, gets to first base, and then runs off the field to me. And she's crying. Obviously, it happens. And I was just like, hey, you all right? And she was like, oh, yeah, my arm. And I was like, okay, all right, let's take a breather, And we got her back home, and she was still complaining about it. Or, I mean, complaining is a bad connotation. And then we took her to the doctor, and they're like, x-rays came back negative. Then there was a physical exam, and the doctor was like, well, she's 5 years old. She's growing, platelets, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, some language I don't speak. And then they're like, yeah, let's get further evaluation. They gave her a soft cast, and then she got the further evaluation yesterday. And Saturday, doctor, soft cast. Yesterday, the forearm cast. So a little fracture in there. 3 weeks. Sean Kilrain, hello. Oh, and it is waterproof, so she can go in the pool. It's the first question she asked. A little daredevil. You're right, she is. Deuce Daly did go nuts in the pickle juice game. JB says, poor little toots, love the pickle juice game. Absolutely. Maybe let's give little toots a pickle juice. Maybe it'll cure the arm right out of the gate. You know what I mean? Sean Gillespie, show everyone that you can bench at least 5-pound plates. I'm telling you. I don't know what's a good moment. I don't want to wait for football season. I'll tell you what, if the Phillies win 10 games in a row this season, I will go through the trouble of videoing me benching the bar. Maybe even a couple of 45s on there. I don't know. Maybe I'll get crazy. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motor Cars, skymotorcars.com. Oh, wait, before I do that, last night's lineup for the Phillies. Trey Turner led off. Some people had issues with Bryson Stott pinch hitting. I really didn't. This is how Rob Thompson's always done it. I didn't have as big a problem with that. But look at it. The middle of the order today, or yesterday, Castellanos, Real Muto, Bohm, 2 hits. Just couldn't get the big hit yesterday. Pitching-wise, I mentioned Orion Kerkering was great. Tanner Banks was great. Christopher Sanchez, again, battled 98 pitches over his six innings of work. A lot going on there. Just the offense wasn't there to support it all. But, of course, the lead is once again your Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys to start the 2025 NFL season. Tonight, 6:45 start time yet again for the Phillies and Cardinals, hoping the Phillies bounce back and even this series so they have a shot at winning their 6th straight series. You got Sonny Gray on the hill. He's coming off a 7 scoreless inning performance, and he goes against Jesus Luzardo tonight in South Philly. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be back with you guys on the Locked On Phillies postcast later today. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag.
Well, that's pretty dope.
I will see you guys after the Phillies game tonight on Locked On Phillies postcast.